Now, before we even get started, I know the firm rule is never to point out what people don't already notice, but I have to bait myself up. I haven't done my nails, and the choice was between either filming this vlog or taking extra long to do my nails, and to be honest, I couldn't be bothered. So don't be distracted by them, but I'm just letting you know I haven't done them. Hey guys, my name's Talisha, aka TC, and you're watching Schoolgirl TV. Boom!
I'm not your average girl, hey, not your average girl, hey, I'm not your average girl, but I'm
a TV vlogger and I present on a Saturday morning show on the CBBC channel called Whoops, I Missed the Bus. So altogether on the show there are 4 vloggers, myself, Laura, Miles and Reese, and we review programmes for CBBC, so we have to watch them and we review them, and we have to just basically make really creative vlogs and make the programs that we're talking about sound like the best show ever. If it's a brand new show or maybe an old-time favourite, our job is to really hype the show up and encourage the children, if they've missed the show during the week, to go back and catch up on it. Presenting this show also includes writing my own vlog scripts, which I really enjoy because I'm really passionate about writing anyway. But writing for TV is completely different. You know, you have to kind of think about how you want your audience to react. You have to be very creative, maybe create surprises that they weren't expecting. So it's a skill that I've been able to evolve over time, and it's been really interesting, and I've learned to become really creative in my ability to make my vlogs come alive. And then a part of doing this show also includes filming and editing my own vlogs. Eventually they do get passed on to the producers of the show, but initially we film them, we edit them, and I use the video editing software called Adobe Premiere Pro. At first I started off using iMovie because I didn't really know what I was doing, but yeah, I mean, if you're beginning, like, it's fine to use iMovie, but now I start to use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit my vlogs, and as I said before, it gets passed on to producers who edit even more and make it look a bit more prettier than I could, and then it gets put on TV on a Saturday morning. For anyone that knows me, you will know that I am completely obsessed with cartoons, animation, watching children's TV. Like, I just love the innocence of it, I just love the creativeness of it. Ever since I was little, even now, like, I would rather go to the cinemas and watch an animation or a cartoon over a real life film with real people any day, hands down. Children's TV, cartoons, animation, it doesn't necessarily have to make sense, and that's what I love about it. A lot of the times everything that we do has to be like logical and there has to be a point to it, but I love the fact that with children's TV you can kind of take it anywhere, and because I'm very much an adventurous and creative person, my mind tends to naturally innovate. I love that creative freedom, and I think it was the best industry for me to work in because of the personality that I have. I'm very animated, I'm very bubbly, and children's TV suits me perfectly for that. I even remember when I was 17 and I said to myself, I created a goal that I was going to present on the CBBC channel one day. And sometimes even when you're younger you write down goals, but I really believed it, and I really wanted it to be something that I pursued. I wasn't sure how I was going to get there. Obviously at the time when I was watching people on TV, it seemed like a very far away dream, but being here now in this position made me realise that, you know, when you're just determined and you follow through on your goals and your ambitions, your brain will naturally create ways for you to get there without you even knowing. So it's incredible, and I feel very blessed to be in the position that I am in now, loving what I do and being so passionate about what I do. I started presenting on Whoops, I Missed the Bus in April 2016, but before that I actually started working in BBC Children's in January 2016, and I worked in the CBBC Development Department for Factual Entertainment as a runner. and initially my contract was only for 3 months with them, but then they ended up extending my contract to a year, which again I'm very grateful for because that doesn't usually happen. And also during that time, 3 months into my job as a runner, I also had the opportunity to do a couple of screen tests for Whoops, I Missed the Bus, and then ended up on the show. So I actually ended up doing 2 jobs. And then before I even started at BBC Children's, I was a local radio apprentice for BBC West Midlands 95.6, and I trained there as a broadcast assistant. It was a 15-month apprenticeship in radio, so I got to produce shows, I got to work with different presenters, I got to write scripts, I got to edit audio, I got to come up with my own ideas for shows. Like there was a Black History segment that I came up with for the afternoon show, and it was a lot of fun and it taught me a lot, but it also taught me that I wasn't that passionate about radio to stay there. So that radio apprenticeship was from 2014 to 2015, and then before I even ended up in BBC Local Radio, I was a public relations intern in Amsterdam for 3 months. That was so much fun. I absolutely loved the whole experience. I was working with a small company and they helped businesses to set up their Kickstarter campaigns, so that was really, really interesting. And then before that, I was volunteering at my local radio station as a contributing presenter. So like they gave me like a little 10-minute slot where I got to talk about issues affecting young people in the community. I'm very passionate about young people, I'm very passionate about the community, so that suited me perfectly, and that was kind of my lead into exploring radio to go on to do the apprenticeship at the BBC. And then before local radio, I had a job as an administration assistant at a community arts centre, and they had a festival they were working on at the time called the Simmerdown Festival. So I helped with all the administration and like all the, you know, contracts and stuff for artists for that, and that was quite interesting as well, but very short-lived. And then speaking of short-lived, before that I was a marketing assistant for a week because apparently they weren't supposed to hire anybody. So I got the job, and then after a week they were like, sorry, we didn't mean to hire you, here's £545, goodbye. I was still happy that I got paid, but you know, that was very short-lived. No, actually I've missed something out. Oh, that was it. I actually launched Schoolgirl before I worked as a marketing assistant. So I launched Schoolgirl in 2013 at the age of 19, and that was because I really was passionate about writing, and I really wanted to create a platform where not only did I encourage more young voices to be heard, but I also wanted to create a platform that encouraged young women to be ambitious in all aspects of their lives. So hence that's how Schoolgirl was born. But you know, I could talk for ages about that, but that's not what this video is about. I'll do a whole separate video if you want on how I started Schoolgirl online. So if you would like that, please request it below. Thanks. And then before the marketing assistant job for a week, I was the editorial assistant at a Birmingham magazine called Scene Birmingham. I don't think it's still running at the moment, but yeah, that was like my first big break into like the magazine world with an actual paid job. And again, that was great for the time that I was there. And then before that, I was a magazine intern at Bauer Media, and I interned for Closer magazine, I interned for Heat magazine, I interned for Ask a Mom, and again, they were all great experiences. I think the first interview I ever did was with Amy Childs from Only Ways Essex, and I was actually really nervous. It was a phone interview, but yeah, that was kind of my gateway into the media industry as a whole, because even before that, I graduated from the Peter Jones Enterprise Academy, and that was like a business college dedicated to business and enterprise. Peter Jones is that man from Dragon's Den, if anyone doesn't know. He had 3 colleges for business open at the time, and I moved to Buckinghamshire when I was 17 to go to his to go to his Amersham campus. And that was a lot of fun. I mean, I've always been passionate about business, and I didn't know I could actually connect business and media together. And when I graduated, I was 18 at the time, and that was in 2012, and I didn't want to go to university. It was something that I had decided. I didn't feel like it was going to be very beneficial in terms of what I wanted to do. I'm a very practical learner, and I just didn't feel like sitting in university for 3 years would be the best way for me to learn what I thought I needed to know. So from then I went on to my internships and everything else that I've just told you that I did. So that's been my journey really. I mean, I've done other stuff in between, but I'd say just solely focusing on all the media related stuff, that's been my career journey. Obviously, to be a TV vlogger, there are so many different skills I can recommend, but I'd say if I was going to narrow it down to 3, I would say the first skill would be networking skills. I think sometimes people underestimate the power of talking to people, getting to know people, telling people what you want to do as well. Obviously, there are certain people that I don't share my dreams with, but people that I know for certain can open the next door or help to propel me to the next level of my journey. Most definitely talk to those people, because those are the people who can potentially hold your future in their hands. I mean, in terms of kind of getting my foot in the door at the BBC, I remember it was one of the heads, so basically someone who headed up an apprenticeship scheme in the BBC Academy wanted a new video to represent the scheme that he ran for the BBC Careers website, and he had heard through the grapevine that I was really keen to present, so he had, through referral, he had asked if I could present this video for the BBC Careers website, and that was kind of like my first stint at presenting. It was unpaid, but I didn't care because I was really passionate about just getting my foot in the door, and that just showed by networking and talking to the right people. Even having your name passed on is a form of networking, because if people like you, they will talk about you and refer you to people. So just make sure that when you talk to people that you just create a good impression, because you never know who they might pass your name on to. Secondly, I would say a great skill to have is the ability to enunciate and project. I know it sounds just like common sense, but you'd be surprised the amount of people that want to be presenters or TV vloggers and haven't actually thought, well, will my audience even understand what I'm saying? And a lot of the times, you know, especially if you come from regions where you do have strong accents, like for me, I have a very strong Birmingham accent, and as soon as I talk to people, people are like, are you from Birmingham? Are you from Birmingham? I'm from Birmingham. Like, people just know I'm from Birmingham. But it's okay, I'm a proud one, we represent. At the end of the day, when you're presenting for children, especially, you've got to remember you're presenting for different nationalities, races, cultures, children from an array of different backgrounds. And not only that, children's TV tends to be a family viewing experience, especially because parents, grandparents want to know what their children are watching. So it's just important that you are understood from generation to generation. And even for me, it's something that I had to learn over time, because, you know, I'm not just catering to children from Birmingham, I'm catering to children from all across the UK, potentially around the world. So I would say it's just about practice. And then thirdly, for this job, I think you need to be able to think outside the box. Whoops, I Missed the Bus is such a creative show, and it's about bringing programs that are already creative. It's about bringing them alive and making them look even more creative. It's again, like I said before, it's about creating that wow factor, that surprise element, giving the children playground talk, the fact that they can go to school the next day and say, oh, did you see that on Whoops, I Missed the Bus over the weekend? It was mad. I can't believe what TC was doing, but it was great. And you know, you just have to be able to get creative with your writing ability, get creative with your filming techniques, get creative with ideas, and you know, all this stuff you can learn. It's not impossible. You can watch other YouTube videos, you can learn about different filming techniques. Like, information is so accessible, and you just have to really be passionate about taking pride in what you put out there and just having fun with it. Fortunately for me, I have met some incredible people along the way of my journey that have helped me and have been very useful in information that they've given to me, people they've introduced me to. So I've been very fortunate in that aspect. But if I was to narrow it down, I would say that my family have been very supportive of me, and especially credit to my parents. They've always motivated me, they've always encouraged me to go after my dreams, to fulfill my potential and not live a mediocre life. And I think just seeing how hard they've worked has really encouraged me and inspired me to do better and to be better, to make them proud. I'm very happy that they can go and tell their friend that their daughter presents on the CBBC channel. I know it's a massive achievement, not just for me but for the family, and I'm really happy that I can make them proud. As I mentioned before, when you work in organisations like the BBC and you do talk to people, people will refer you on to different people. And one person that got hold of my name was the head of new talent at the BBC, and she's a lady called Claire. Absolutely lovely lady, and you know, she's enabled me to have opportunities like meet the head of presentation at CBBC, who decides on the presenters for the channel, and even her introducing me to him was again another foot in the door. And she also has kept in touch with me since doing my apprenticeship at local radio to now. And the other day, last year, in November, she asked if I was available to present the BBC's main stage at the Skills Show, which is a massive show. And I was just very fortunate that she had approached me yet again to be involved with that, because again, that live presenting is completely different to TV, and again, that was an incredible experience that is helping me to evolve as a presenter. I would also say massive credit to the BBC Academy. I just think they provide so many different opportunities for young people and even adults, because on the apprenticeship scheme that I did, there was 46 out of 4,000 applicants chosen, and the final 46, the age range from like 18 to about 35. So, you know, just because you're over a certain age, it doesn't mean that all hope is lost. There is still hope for you. So I would say, if you're really keen to get into media, go through the BBC Academy route. They provide some great traineeships, they provide some great apprenticeships, work experience. It's all about just getting your foot in the door and, you know, talking to people and building your network. So I would say, if you do have a chance, definitely go onto the BBC Careers website and check out any schemes they have going and just apply, get your foot in there. It took me about 4, 5 or probably about 6 attempts before I was finally accepted to do an apprenticeship at the BBC. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you're rejected the first time, just keep applying and just see where you get with it. What have I learned? It's a very interesting question, because I feel like I've learned so much along this journey. But I'd say one thing that really stands out in my mind is the importance of taking risks. I've really learned that it's so important to take risks. As I said, I finished my BBC local radio apprenticeship at the end of 2015. I was offered a job as a runner in BBC Children's, and that contract was for 3 months. Not only was it 3 months, but I had to move from Birmingham to Manchester. Now, I don't know about you, but not many people will uproot their entire life, pack up and move for a 3-month contract. But I was just so determined to make a change in my life and to really go after my dream that I thought, what the hey, you only have one chance in life to really make something of yourself, and I really don't have anything to lose. So I just did it anyway. You know, I don't know anyone in Manchester. I didn't know anyone, at the time. I didn't have any family or any friends that I knew of there, but I just thought, just do it. What's the worst that can happen? And just from taking that one risk alone, it has led me to the position that I am today, to be able to say like, hey, I'm a TV vlogger now, And even since being in Manchester, again, you know, I had my contract extended for the runner from 3 months to a year. I also had the chance to present a interview with Lady Leisha for BBC Music Day. So many opportunities have risen since I've been in Manchester, just from taking that one risk. You know, one risk can turn into 10 new opportunities. So if you're in a position now where you're contemplating something, sometimes the opportunity only comes once. Take the risk. You know, I would rather take the risk and it doesn't work out than wake up to a casket full of regrets, because no one wants to regret anything. So just go for it. Just go for it. Say yes and think about everything else afterwards. Just go for it. I'd say secondly, I've learnt that TV is not as glamorous as it appears. I know that some people kind of just come into this industry and think that it's all glitter and glam, but just like the hard work it takes to get in, it's also hard work to stay in. At the end of the day, producers and people who work in TV are very busy people, and sometimes they don't have the patience or time for people who are not serious. So, you know, it is a serious industry and you must take it seriously, because it's a privileged position to be in. So, you know, you always have to remember that at any given moment in time, they can just change their mind about you and you can be replaced. Never think that you cannot be replaced, because no matter how good you are, there is always someone better. So I guess I've just learnt to always just maintain a sense of humility and constantly push myself and always encourage myself to grow. Even, you know, you've never really reached, there's always room for you to grow and learn. So, you know, in the position that I'm in now, it's always about what are the next steps to make me an even better TV blogger, to make me an even better TV vlogger, and to make me an even better children's TV presenter. So it's always looking for opportunities to make yourself bigger and better than you are. My advice for anyone aspiring to do this role would be to really think about what makes you stand out from the crowd. TV presenting, TV vlogging, children's TV, whatever it is, presenting as a whole is a very competitive industry. There are so many people that want to be in front of the camera and want to be in front of the screen, and which is fine, because it's a great job, and if you love it, you love it. But at the same time, don't be afraid to bring what you have to the table. I think sometimes, you know, before even coming into industries like the BBC, people kind of have like a preconceived idea on how you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to sound, what you're supposed to look like. I'm just myself. I can't be anybody else. And I have learnt to bring what I have to the table. I'm very expressive with my face. Even like you can see me now, I'm constantly moving, I can't keep still. And my facial expressions have been, what's the word I'm looking for? It's been one of my signatures of my vlogs. You know, people always know me for making faces, and that's what I, amongst other things obviously, but that's one of the things that I have brought to the table is the way I express myself. So I'd say really have a think about what will make you stand out from the crowd. How can I be different? Because it's not about being like anyone else, it's about leaving your stamp. What will you like children to remember you for in 10 years time when they're 16 and talking about it with their friends in the playground? My second piece of advice would be to learn about what actually goes on behind the camera as well as in front. I guess the fact that I get to work in TV production and the fact that I worked in development as a runner for a year really allowed me to appreciate the work that goes into developing a program and the work that goes into developing TV as a whole. You know, camera angles, casting, scripting, there's so many different elements to what makes TV and presentation great. You don't want to be in a TV studio and not understand what the heck is going on or what the producer is saying to you. You know, when they're using certain phrases or talking about certain camera angles, you want to be that kind of presenter that can also give your input as well as being told what to do. You know, you want to be able to say, well, actually, I think that camera angle would look better over there. Not to be like bossy or arrogant about it, but it just shows that actually this presenter knows what she or he is talking about, and I actually find it easier to work with them because it means that they can have input, they can bring forward new ideas or maybe input things that we never thought about. And even when you look at great presenters like Ant and Dec, they are executive producers in their own right. They come up with their own segments, they come up with their own shows, and I'm sure by now they're very well aware of TV production and what goes on. So it's very important to know what goes on behind the camera as well as in front. Thanks so much for listening to my career journey of how I did it, how I got into TV vlogging. I hope it's been inspiring, I hope it's been insightful, and I hope that you can just go forward and just become the very best version of you and just really believe in yourself that you can do absolutely anything that you put your mind to. I remember when I was little and so many people used to take the mick out of me for not being very good looking or being ugly, as they used to say, but never underestimate what you will grow into one day, because now that ugly face is now the TV face. So don't think that it's always about how you look. You know, you will evolve over time. Just focus on the more practical elements and you'll be great. Just go for it. So that's it for now. I promise I will stop rambling on. Take care of yourself and have a great time on your journey. See ya. Also, before I forget, actually, I just want to give a big massive shout out to Toyosi Fua. I really apologise if I haven't pronounced your name properly, but she was actually the original person who requested this video, and her question was, could you do a video on your journey into the industry, please? So thank you very much, Toyosi, because if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't have done it. So yeah, keep asking, you know, keep requesting. Like, I really appreciate when you leave your comments below and ask us to do certain videos. If there's anything else that you would like us to touch on, please by all means comment below, subscribe, email, follow us, and we really appreciate all the love and support. Thanks.